Hey guys, Kevin Cage back with a quick video update for you all as we are approaching 10,000 subscribers. Much love, and be sure to subscribe if you like what you see. So, right here we're starting with XRP_Crow, C-R-O, at status on Twitter. So definite follow, creates amazing graphics, does some great research for the XRP community. And so go ahead and check this out. And what I want to do is talk about it. And this is an infographic that he's created, Ripple versus Swift GPI. And I love this graphic. If we can share this around, we can really inform the XRP community as a whole. So basically comparing a battle for the $150 trillion, comparison of the two most popular cross-border payment networks today. And it's funny that Ripple's, already a big competitor in only really 6 years or so. So with RippleNet, of course, they're a company that created the ILP, the Interledger Protocol, which underpins their global payment network, RippleNet. And RippleNet is a suite full of various software products. One of them is XRapid, and that actually sources liquidity using the digital asset XRP. And now they've actually converged all their software products on RippleNet, so all of their customers can use XRP if they want the cheapest and fastest option. So this RippleNet includes banks, payment providers, and other financial institutions, or FIs. The competitor, Swift, and their GPI, so Swift stands for Society for Worldwide Interbank Financial Telecommunications. Swift introduced its GPI, Global Payments Innovation Initiative, as a way of enhancing cross-border payments. Now, a little comparison between these two. RippleNet's been around since 2012, one of the oldest digital assets, and it's still around, so definite. One of the more long-term but viable investments, in my opinion, entertainment purposes only. And Swift has been around since 73, so a 45-year-old legacy network. Ripple's based in San Francisco. On the other hand, Swift is based out of Belgium. Of course, Brad Garlinghouse, the CEO of Ripple. And then we got Godfried, who will be retiring. And July 1st, we will have a new CEO. 300 plus employees for Ripple and over 150 plus partners. Again, they're signing 2 to 3 production contracts per week, so this number is probably much higher. By the end of the year, I would not be surprised to see 400 production contracts, and I believe I heard someone else say that as well. And of course, Swift, 2,000 plus employees. Again, I believe they are a non-for-profit, so they are not super motivated, and really the banks are going to be choosing what they want out of these. All right, so 160 plus clients, banks and financial institutions using the GPI system today. And of course, it's easy for them to on-ramp them since they've already been a customer for 45 years. But now some of the major clients that Ripple has. So we have American Express, we got Standard Chartered, Santander, PNC, Bank of America, SBI Holdings, Qualix. I mean, we see some recognizable names. And then for Swift, on the other hand, of course, we see BBC, Citi, JP Morgan. So I believe that they're almost all intertwined already. And I believe, in my personal opinion, that Swift will utilize XRP at some point in the future, and perhaps may even want to before Ripple, the private company, onboards their own clientele. I've already mentioned this, RippleNet. We have the 3 software products, XCurrent, XRapid, and XVIA, and what they're used for. And then we have the GPI of Swift. So it's same-day transfer of funds, transparent fees, and end-to-end payment tracking. So, of course, it's an improvement, but we don't want to try to keep fixing something that's broken. So let's compare how it settles today. So they're both instant payments, which is great. Instant settlement, not at all. Ripple, however, using RippleNet allows settlement instantly. So what that means is there's a core ledger that's being updated in real time. Payments are just being sent, but have to be settled on the bank's ledger individually. And that's what RippleNet's allowing. Liquidity sourcing? Swift can't do it. Financial institutions must pre-fund Nostro accounts on each side of a transaction in the country's native currency, tying up capital that could be used in more productive ways, around $20 trillion globally. Digital asset XRP can be used to lower the cost and improve the speed of liquidity for these cross-border transactions. Ripple's XRapid solution uniquely uses XRP to offer on-demand liquidity. Sorry if I read that slowly. The font is super tiny and I didn't feel like zooming in. All right, transfer of speed, 4 seconds with XRP, 3 to 5 seconds more or less. And the whole actual transfers maybe, 2 to 3 minutes. Whereas Swift can be 30 minutes to 24 hours. And that is, intraday payments. So already using, blockchain technology, you can see the difference there, along with more visibility and security and guarantee in the actual funds arriving. So foreign exchange rates determined by the banks, okay. Bidirectional and undirectional, so that data can go back and forth right now with Ripple, which is huge. I mean, the benefits are plain as day. Technology, blockchain, as I've already said, versus Swift, which is really just a legacy messaging service. That's just trying to fix something that's broken. We're trying to innovate. Of course, the architecture will be decentralized, allowing the whole global financial world to be on a trustless network. All right, versus centralized, the settlement process, they reach consensus, of course. It's proof of consensus. And right here, there's batch clearing and settlement for Swift, fiat only, whereas we can use various currencies using XRP. Advantages, moving actual value in 4 seconds. Whoops, won't let me get out of that. And then settlement, on-demand liquidity, saving up to 60%. I've seen figures up to 70% as well. And of course, tying up that, freeing up that tied up capital can also involve even more savings. And it eliminates the need for Nostra Vostra accounts, as I've just said. And payment processing costs is significantly reduced. Right here, advantages of Swift. They're a huge group right now. I believe it's actually over 11,000 banks, unless it's shrinking. Maybe there's some acquisitions here. Generally, consistent process standards, 220 international payment corridors. So that's a lot of corridors. However, with Ripple, we'll be able to create even newer corridors in the emerging markets and really allow efficiency and help the smaller players too, and just make a level playing field. Right here, other advantages of Swift, hundreds of thousands of payments, which is nearly 10% of Swift's cross-border payment traffic. And I think that Swift is the giant that will have to adapt or die. And they know this, and they cannot just create their own cryptocurrency. Ripple's already well established. Swift does not have the funds. Ripple's worth billions, and they will be a $1 trillion company, in my opinion, in terms of valuation. All right, now if you want to look at the disadvantages, because I want to speak on both ends, you can argue 60% of XRP is owned by Ripple, the company. However, if you understand the escrow process, you'll understand that's not even a need to be worried, and it's actually a business strategy. Volatility of the native asset XRP, this is just FUD. That's negligible and really won't affect anything. And then slow adoption of distributed ledger technology by banks and FIs due to regulatory compliance policies, know your customer, and anti-money laundering, and new blockchain technology. I don't know if that's a disadvantage. That is just a hurdle that we're going to have to face, and that's exactly what all markets face when they're facing a new technology. And then Swift, consistently targeted by hacking, fraud, unable to pre-validate transactions. It's centralized, as I've already said. And now this says 4% failure rate, and the figure that I typically see is 6%, and this data is of 2018 in October. So conclusion. Thanks to Ripple's innovative and advanced distributed ledger technology, DLT, and its capabilities to address interoperability and scalability issues, Swift is being forced to improve payment processing standards as correspondent banking. And again, that's great because Swift, or Ripple, is lighting a fire under Swift to adapt or die. And now the banks, it's going to be ultimately up to them to choose. So a decades old and inefficient system. At the end of the day, this will benefit both users and financial institutions in the future. Nevertheless, Ripple offers better, faster, and cheaper technology services to its clients and customers worldwide. So definitely check out Status. I need to figure out how to pronounce his name. Give him a follow. Here's his XRP tip bot. This is just a great infographic. I highly recommend checking this out and sharing it around. And then two more things I want to share quickly. XRP Neo at XRP_Anderson, just making another point with Swift here. If Swift-enabled bank would choose to settle in XRP, it doesn't mean that RippleNet would win. Since XRP is a third-party digital asset, it's open-sourced, remember that. Sure, Ripple does own a lot of XRP, but if Swift banks would use XRP, that would just mean that they can compete better with Ripple. 100% agreed. And as Neo says here, it's up to the banks. The banks will choose between a system that's faster, cheaper, and safer versus the Swift GPI. Well said. And And then another thing shared by Cryptopolis at Cryptopolis_X. And this is just some great Medium articles here written by, and if you pay attention here, the author is a director at Deloitte and Advisory Corporate Finance. And he has 2 articles here talking really just the huge case for XRP and why it's superior and why it can succeed. And it's great to see some of these larger companies acknowledging this asset. You don't see that often with a lot of other altcoins. So guys, with that, hopefully I didn't talk your ear off. I believe this was, extremely helpful, and I'm really appreciative of Status for sharing this and creating these and putting all his time into this. Please share it around. Give him a follow on Twitter, and until next time.